Hi there, welcome back to Bioenergetics. My name is Devaraj, and today we're going to look at sucking. Yeah, a word that provokes a lot of adolescent excitement, male excitement. Anyway, what's interesting, I mean, look, stepping back a little bit, most bioenergetic exercises, if you've been following this series at all, then essentially what they're doing, you're stretching a part of the body to open up the muscle system, or you're moving constantly a part of the body to open up the muscle system, and then in that position you maintain that movement or that stretch, and you breathe and you feel. You breathe through the mouth and you feel. That's basically what we're doing in most of these exercises. And with this exercise today, or a couple of exercises I'm going to show you, we're starting to cover slightly new territory, or subtly different anyway. We're going to start looking at some primal responses, in that primal bodily functions that you're kind of born with, and then going into that. And sucking is obviously one of those. The first thing a little baby will do, pretty much apart from breathing in its first breath when it comes out of the mother, is suck. It wants to suck on the nipple. You want to suck nourishment in. And so what we can do in bioenergetics also is look at some of these very primal things that we're built in with in our body, and start to do those. And what it does is take our brain back a little bit. It takes our brain back to very early childhood, to the time when these responses started, the times when these actions started, and it brings our brain chemistry back. And maybe, there's disturbances around there, and they can start to come out as feelings, as bodily movements, as just an energetic sensation in the body. Another thing which also the sucking response can do is, and related things, is it connects up different parts of your body energetically. This is another strategy in bioenergetics. Probably not so well outlined by Alexander Lowen, who's usually credited as the founder, though there's some debate about that. In this, what I mean is that by starting to move one part of the body and then another part of the body that's on a different kind of energetic level, then a connection is created, and in that connection, stuff which is not functioning properly can start to move. Probably some of you heard about the kind of Indian idea of the chakra system, that we've got 7 bodily centers, and there's things relating to each of those. There's aspects of our psychology or our development which relate to each of those. And by connecting up different areas of this chakra system or different parts of our body, we create a current of energy somewhere inside, or something like this. It's modeling itself like this, and that can provoke useful reactions. And so we haven't touched on this so much so far. Now let's get to the sucking, because this is a very basic primal response. As I've said, you're born with this capacity to just suck nourishment, or you wouldn't survive. It's written into the DNA. And yet how we suck, and also not everyone was breastfed. I was not breastfed. And when you're not breastfed, when the sucking response isn't working properly, it affects deeper areas of our psychology. For example, our capacity to nourish ourselves, our capacity to really give ourselves what we need. A lot of it is found, it sounds a bit crazy in some ways, but a lot of it is easily accessed. This inability to nourish ourselves properly is accessed via this sucking movement. It starts to access all those parts of the brain, of the mind, of the body that are involved with getting in, taking in nourishment. It can even extend to stuff like finance, our self-worth, our belief that, hey, we have the right to make a ton of cash, or we have the right to be treated good and to be paid properly, to really nourish ourselves, to take in what we need from the environment. So a sucking response can be very, very powerful. And basically how it goes is that you simply stick your tongue out and you suck it back in quite a fast movement, a little bit like you might have seen lizards doing, something like this. And it's just simply that you're just going to adjust the camera a tick. It's a little bit on the edge. Helps to make your lips a little bit wet, and it's good if a bit of saliva gets around your mouth. It increases the feeling. I'll show you from the side, just in case it's, let's see, make sure you can see me. can take a little while to get the movement right. People often have, when I teach this, often people get in all sorts of confusion. But all you need to do is just keep practicing. All you need to do is just keep practicing, and after a while, it'll just come back. And that practicing in itself is very useful. You know, don't go into it, oh, I can't do this and whatever. That's not going to help you. You know, just stay with it for a few minutes, and it probably will come. And if it doesn't, just keep trying, because that is also, even that action of continuing to try when the response is not really functioning still in the mouth, starts to reteach the brain. So it's very, very useful to stick with it. And you can simply do this sucking movement. You need to do it for quite a while, you know, and just, you can do it sitting, like I do it sitting meditatively with me, maybe with your legs crossed. You don't have to have your legs crossed. And you can just sit and go for it with your eyes closed is probably good. With this exercise, you'll probably be breathing through the nose, so your nose needs to be clear, which is different from most bioenergetics. And very important, feel your body as you do it. You need to do it for something like 15 minutes. And it could be even an hour, you know, it could be even an hour. So just staying with this sucking response. If you want to make it a little bit more intense and add to it, you can also do something else with your body at the same time, essentially in the same sequence. And one thing you can do, either lying down or sitting up, is to push your belly out as you suck in. Am I going to be able to show that? Let's see. I don't know if it's like haven't really got such a huge belly at the minute to demonstrate with. But basically just pulsing your belly out as you suck in. Eyes closed, and stick with it. With a lot of these exercises, and particularly this very primal exercise, on a deeper level, feelings start to stir straight away, and you might get the narrative coming up, oh, I don't want to do this now, or, you know, another time. This is very powerful. This is very powerful practice. It can drag your brain right back to early infancy and start to correct emotionally and energetically all sorts of stuff that's gone on since you were born. So, you know, if you want to go for it, set aside 15-20 minutes at least, maybe longer, and really give yourself a chance to go for it. Decide on how you're going to do it, either just the sucking or the sucking on the belly, or another one which I'll show you in a minute, and really stick with it. Stick with it. Stick with it for that length of time. You know, even if it gets uncomfortable, if feelings start to come, I've known people to really break down in tears, you know, doing this exercise, and that's very, very healthy. Going to a completely vulnerable, baby-like space, and that is an incredible liberation when you can allow yourself to simply be like that. I'll show you one other variation which I learned from a Brazilian lady, Pavita. I'm going to take the camera down a bit, and in this one, tricky, you're going to do a mixture of three things with your body. One is lying down and doing the sucking response, eyes closed, and probably good not to use too much of a pillow. And the second one is just to contract your anus as you suck. As you pull in, contract your anus. And the third one is with your feet. You just flick your feet out like this. Heels together and just flicking them out. So as you suck in, simultaneously you pull your anus a little bit tight and you let your feet just flick out. And this energetically connects up three main parts of the body. It's a great exercise to do. You need to do it lying down. I could demo it, but you're probably not going to see very much. Let's have a go anyway. Let's try to check. So we're going to go something like... Goes like that. Arms relaxed by the side, eyes closed, and give yourself space and time to really go for it with this exercise. Yeah, we laugh about sucking, particularly if you're an adolescent male or a bit of a terminal adolescent like me. But the fact is, it's a very, very powerful practice, so treat it with respect. It's also great if you have a habit of waking up in the night, you know, and you can't really get back to sleep. Your mind is kind of going around a bit fast. These kind of practices, particularly the last one I just showed you, connect up your body internally. And this is useful when treating insomnia, because one type of insomnia, when the mind is racing a lot inside, it's simply that the awareness has come a bit trapped in the head. And this, connecting up the different parts of the body, the awareness starts to be pulled back down into the body, so you can feel your body more, and you will just find yourself falling back to sleep. So it's something to do in the night if you wake up and you can't get back to sleep very easily. If it's that kind of a mind, there's just too much energy in your head, you can feel it, it's charging around. Okay, so that's today's bioenergetics lesson, and I hope you're doing good, and I'll be back with some more next week. Bye for now.